Hey everybody, I am in the kitchen and I am getting ready to make some cornbread for my cornbread dressing I'm going to make later today. But I'm going to show you how to make, if you've never made cornbread, and those of you that have, you know it's not hard. But this is for people maybe that's never made it before. And I'm just going to make a simple cornbread. I'm not going to make it like I usually do when we eat, because my husband likes a little sugar in his cornbread, so I put a little sugar in the cornbread, and I may put a little bit in this. But anyway, I'm just going to make it basically, but not, you don't have to make it just so when you're going to put it in dressing. But anyway, you're going to need some cornmeal mix. I use cornmeal mix. Sometimes I put a little flour in it too, but I'm not going to today because I don't want it to be, I want it to be kind of coarse today. So it's already got flour in the cornmeal mix. I use White Lily. That's my favorite cornmeal. I use White Lily flour and White Lily cornmeal mix. And you need an egg, you need some milk, you need a little bit of oil, and that's about it. Get you a pan. I'm gonna make a 9x13 pan today. So I'm making a little bit bigger batch. But stay tuned. We'll get some made. You need to preheat your oven to 425 degrees. Okay, the first thing I do is I take my pan and I put a little bit of oil in my pan. Couple tablespoons. Then I'm going to put it over here in my oven. Now my oven's already preheated, but I'm going to put it in there because I want this pan to get kind of hot. But now you have to be careful. You have to watch your pan. You can't put it in there and just forget about it. You have to remember that it's in there. Okay? Sometimes what I do is I just start my timer. I put it on 2 or 3 minutes so that I don't forget about it. Okay. Now, normally, I wouldn't measure this, but I'm going to measure this today simply because you're watching and I can give you a more accurate amount. Okay, there's 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups, 4 cups. That's 4 cups of White Lily self-rising cornmeal mix. Okay. Now I'm going to put my lid back on my meal because I don't want to flop any wet stuff in it. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put. Now, if you don't like the sugar in it, don't put it in it, because I'm making enough here too for Robert to eat. So I put about a 1/4 cup of sugar in it. My mom never did put sugar in cornbread, but the way Robert grew up, that's the way he ate it. So it doesn't bother me. I can eat it that way or not eat it that way. It doesn't matter. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put an egg in it. I almost forget to save my eggshells for Marty. And I have some evaporated milk, and I mixed a little water with it in here. My mom always made cornbread with evaporated milk. It was just simpler and easier than keeping another gallon of milk and taking up the space. That's just the way they did back then. But a lot of times I'll use my milk in the refrigerator. But if I've got evaporated milk, I just put about, I don't know, a little over 1/2 cup maybe, around something like that. And then I'll add some water to it. Evaporated milk is really rich because you're getting nothing but the milk. The water has been taken out of it, just about. So you want to stir this up a little bit. And this is how you don't get too much water in it. Just get you a thing of water and keep pouring it in till it gets the consistency you want it. Pour a little bit at a time. And you'll kind of learn as time goes by. Now you can see mine is still too dry. So I'm going to get me some more water. And if you accidentally get too much, what do? Add a little more cornmeal. It won't hurt it. There's nothing here. When you make this, you're not doing anything that you can't pretty much straighten out. Now, my beeper is beeping over here, so I know I've got to hurry up and get this done because I don't want my pan to get too hot. You want this to be about the consistency of cake batter. It might be a little thicker because cornmeal is a coarser grain. You know, it's not like flour. Now, I'm going to add about, I don't know, a couple tablespoons of oil, not much. This beeping has got to quit. Okay, now. Okay, you can see mine. That's thin enough. You don't need to get it any thinner. You just want to make sure you've got it stirred up good. Now, I'm going to take this over to the stove. And I'm going to take you over to the stove. Okay, now. Let me get because I know my pan is plenty hot. And what you want to do, you want to kind of move that oil around in your pan. Make sure you got it all coated pretty good. Now, my mama used to do this. She would pour some of that hot oil into the bread mix. I don't know why, but she always did. And she always had good cornbread. I never had to worry about Mom's cooking. Mom was a good cook. With what she had to cook with, she done pretty daggone good. Now, you're going to pour this in there. And usually it will sizzle a little bit, but right now I think I got mine in there a little late. But it doesn't have to sizzle. Now, take your pan, just kind of shake it like this, spread your batter out, then put it in the oven. Let me get me another. Phew. Now, my oven's on 425, so that's hot. Now, we're going to bake this for about 22, this varies, 20 to 22 minutes. You just have to check it when it starts cracking on top and the edges are getting brown. Put your finger right in the middle of it. If it's firm and it just kind of taps when you hit it, it's probably done. Then you put your oven on broil and you bake it. You broil it until it gets as brown as you want it. Some people, Robert's mom likes her cornbread burned. She likes the top of it black. Robert's total opposite. He likes his light brown. And I like mine kind of in the middle. I just like golden brown cornbread. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't like burned on the top, though. I don't like that. So we're going to come back when this is done, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when it's time to start broiling it, okay? We'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, guys, I'm getting ready to brown the cornbread, but I want you to see what I'm talking about here. Okay, now, if you look in there and you see my cornbread, you can see that I don't want to get my phone too close because it's hot. But now I want you to watch when I tap on my cornbread. See how I tap right there? And my cornbread doesn't sink in. I know it's done. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put it on broil. Okay? Watch just a second. I was amazed. Some people don't know what this feature is for on their ovens. A broil is to brown it. And mine will go on high and it will go on low. I usually put mine on high, press start, and then I come back here and I've got my oven light on and I just watch it. I watch it, and whenever it gets brown as I want it, I hit cancel, stop it from browning anymore. And that's just what you got to do. Young cooks, if you don't know what your broil thing is for, it's not just for broiling meat. It's for also browning things that you're cooking that you want to brown, like biscuits or cornbread or things like that. And I know you older cooks that have cooked a lot, you probably know all this, but not everybody does. And that's why I just want younger cooks to know that. But and I want everybody to know, this is Kentucky Cooking with Kathy. If you're watching it on anything else, it's because they stole my videos. Please don't watch them. Let them do their own work. Let them get up and work and do all this. And then if they want to make money off their page, that's fine. But I don't like them making money off of mine, because I don't even make money off of mine. I don't do it for that. And I don't like people stealing stuff, But anyway, let me check mine. No, it's not Harley Brown yet. I've been doing this long enough. I kind of know when to look. But now if you're a young cook and watch your cornbread, watch your biscuits, watch things until they're, till they're as brown as you want them. And this doesn't have to be real brown today, because you're putting it in dressing, part of it. But now I've already got some cornbread over here. I made some the other day. I like to use cornbread that's a couple of days old, because it works better. But so if you can, make your cornbread the day before. Just make it up, let it cool, cut it in squares, put it in a Ziploc bag, and put it in the refrigerator. And then the next day you just crumble it up. So it works better if you do it that way. This cornbread here, I made 2 or 3 days ago. And I've got 3 cups of crumbled up cornbread. Okay. I'm not going to make a big batch in this, but if you need a 9 by 13, you're going to need at least 8 cups of cornbread. And you're going to put a couple cups of what my granny called light bread in it. Let me check my cornbread here. Okay. Now, mine's dark enough. You can see what mine looks like. Okay, now, I set it right there. I usually will put it on my rack, my little cooling rack, because it helps it cool quicker if you can get the bottom up off the ground. And then I'll cut it in squares, and I put it in you can do this too. I make a big pan, I let it cool, cut it in squares. About 20 minutes after it's been cooling, I cut it in squares and stand it up on its edge so the bottom won't sweat. If it sweats, then it sticks to the pan. It's like cakes or anything else. After about 10, 15, 20 minutes, you need to get it out of that pan. So I cut it in squares. Then I'll take my little spatula and stand it up on its edge and let those ends dry out a little bit, because they're still cooling and they sweat. And then when it's completely cool, I put it in a big Ziploc bag and I put it in the refrigerator. Robert will come in. He will take 3 of those pieces out. He'll cut them in half. He'll put butter on them. And he'll stick them in that microwave. He likes it like that. That's the way he eats it. I heard somebody say they like to take it and cut it like that and put honey on top of it. I've never done that. Cornbread to me is not a sweet dish, but there's people that do, and that's okay, I guess. But anyway, I'm going to let this cool. Now, I want you all to know, I've got my cornbread stuff ready. I cut up another onion and celery I'm fixing to saute in a pan to put in my dressing. Now, I put 3 stalks of celery in that the other day, but I've got 4 jars of that, so I may not get a lot of celery. So I always put a little onion, a little celery in a skillet and saute it and get it soft and mix it in with my dressing mix, because I like a little more onion. If you don't like it, the broth we made the other day will be fine probably. But anyway, I will be back in a few minutes and we'll get started making some dressing. Okay, guys, before I get off here, I was going to show the younger cooks what I'm talking about. A lot of times when you make a cake and the cake will stick to the pan, it's because you've left it in the pan too long. You've given it an opportunity to sweat. And you don't want to do that. You want to have a good baker's rack, a wire rack that you can take things out of and put them on a rack and let them finish cooling. That way the bottom doesn't get all soggy and wet. And I'm going to let you watch, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's been 15 minutes since I took my cornbread out. And I'm going to cut this cornbread up, and I'll show you how I stand it up on its edge. Now, I cut it in, I just go through it and cut it like this. You can't cut it too soon because it will fall apart. You've got to let it rest for about 15 minutes at least. And even then, sometimes, it might, so. Okay, now, let me get this over here where I can hopefully get some of it up here. See, now the bottom of it is just now starting to sweat a little bit. So I take it, first I'll get me out 3 or 4 pieces like this and put it right up here. And then I'll put this one here, and I just stand them up on their edges. Now I'll put some of these back there so I can turn my pan around. Now, I'll let it sit there like that till it cools quite a bit. Because that way it doesn't sweat and you don't have wet, icky cornbread on the bottom. And but if you leave it too long now, it's gonna sweat too much and it's gonna stick to your pan. So just a little tidbit there, guys. I'm going to get off here and get my other stuff ready, and you all have a blessed day. Do something good for somebody else today. Encourage somebody, love somebody. Remember to have a forgiving heart today. Life is hard for everybody, guys. We all go through struggles. We all have a past. We all have things that we don't want nobody to know but ourselves and God, and that's okay. And just forgive yourself and forgive others and move on. Life's too short, guys. Life's just too short. I love you all. I pray for everybody. And you all continue to pray for me. I'm going to go back to the doctor tomorrow with this and see what she tells me. She's going to do a full body scan and look over everything. And, I'm sure they're going to cut more out of my arm, but that'll be all right. It'll be okay. And I just know Jesus is with me. That's all I know. I mean, he's not going anywhere. He never leaves us regardless of what we're going through. I know he's with me every day. And it's just like I told my son yesterday. I told him, I said, son, I'm not living with a hard heart. I'm not doing that. I'm not going to stay aggravated and mad. And things of this world are going to end, folks. It's going to end some days. And you know what? Yes, our family hurt us. People hurt us. We hurt each other. We're good at that. We're not good at forgiving people. We're not good at just letting the past die. That's what it should be. If Jesus forgives people, who are we to hold it? We don't have any right to. He forgave us. If we're not willing to extend the same thing that Christ gave us, what's the point? And there was a lady yesterday that sent me a message, and she told me in my Bible study that she didn't like it because I said I didn't accept gays. That's not what I said. I didn't say that at all. I just said what the Bible says, that God does not like that. He doesn't want that. That is sinful in God's eyes. And unless you read the Bible, you're not going to know what God says. If you're going by strictly what somebody else tells you, you better stop it. You better read the Bible. And God doesn't do things to suit us. God's the creator. We're not the creator. We can't tell him how we want things done. Thank God we can't, because we screw up everything. I mean, we mess up everything. Human beings mess up everything. God tells us all those things to protect us. Sin has consequences. Sin has consequences. God knows the things that it causes. The hurt, the pain, the suffering. And that's why he tries to warn us. He tells us. He set down his commandments for us so that we listen. But unfortunately, we have a whole section of society that wants to say, well, if you don't accept their sin, you hate them. That's a lie. Don't you dare put words in my mouth. No. Mm-mm. And you know what? If we hated you, we wouldn't tell you the truth. We'd let you go ahead and do what you do. But anyway, I just wanted to clarify that. Don't ever get on here and say that I don't accept some. I don't accept their sin. No, I do not. Just like I wouldn't with a drunk or a whoremonger or a backbiter or a gossiper or a liar or anything else. You know, if you've got a problem with it, you need to talk to God. I'm sure he'll straighten you out. Talk to you guys later. Bye.